My name is Ashley. This is Life Beyond Locks, and today I'm going to answer one of the biggest questions that I get when it comes to fears behind wearing hair toppers. And that question is, does the clip part of the topper cause traction alopecia? I get it all the time, several times a week. And I'm going to answer the question. I'm also going to give you tips and tricks to help minimize potential damage from topper clips. So in short, no, I have never experienced any significant hair loss or breakage even from wearing a hair topper. And that's surprising because I've been wearing a hair topper for 3 years now. And I kind of thought that over time I would end up with bald spots, especially because when I first put on the topper, it was so darn uncomfortable. I didn't know how I was ever going to make it through a full work day. And I thought for sure it was going to rip hair out of my head. Turns out it didn't. And I think I have a couple answers as to why. So first of all, I'm going to start by looking at what I would call an undesirable topper clip. And I think that the clips, so that's number one, the clips make a difference in whether or not there's going to be damage to your hair. So I'm going to show you a piece that was sent to me for a review. It's a wig that does not have a desirable clip. The piece itself is okay, but it's the clips for me. I wouldn't be using these on my hair. So I'm going to show you up close what they look like, how they sound. They're quite, how do I even describe it? They're big. The teeth are, they just feel grippy when you put them in your hair. Your hair is not going to slip when you're wearing these, but I do feel like for me with my baby fine hair under my topper, it's going to do damage. I'm going to contrast this one with my preferred clip. And this is the type of clip that comes on basically every topper that I have ever purchased. So whether it's a highline, whether it's a uni wigs, whether it's, oh my gosh, even just the other day I got one from Amazing Beauty Hair Extensions. They had a very similar clip. Their clips were all fine. So most topper companies, I think at this point in the game, kind of understand what is a good clip and what isn't. And the ideal clip to me looks like this. First of all, the sound. It just sounds different. But see how those teeth are like single pronged? These teeth are like double pronged. If I open them up and show them to you side by side, oh my gosh, sorry. Hang on. I hope Sharon from Highline doesn't see me doing this. She's going to be like, what are you doing to your topper? I'm getting hair stuck in it. Okay. So you can see the difference up here. This one is almost like double pronged. This one is single pronged. There's something about the way that it sits across the top. But the ones that look like this, these are the ideal clips. So first of all, make sure you get clips that feel good. If you put them in your hair and you feel like they're going to rip hair out of your head, they're probably not the good clips. So switch them out. You can buy them on Amazon. You can buy them anywhere. Buy the clips that are the good clips. That's number one. Number two comes down to technique. And I think technique counts for a lot. So first of all, know that when you first put on a hair topper, it's not going to be super comfortable. I can't imagine that anyone will put one on and go, oh yeah, like I can't wait to sleep in this thing. Like that's not realistic. It's not going to feel good. But what I can promise you, and I have said this so many times to girls in the messages who just kind of initially are so worried they want to send the topper back. They say, I'm never going to be able to wear this. And I tell them like, don't worry about it. Give it time. I promise you, you will adjust. If you think back to the first time that you got your first training bra, that was probably not a comfortable experience. I'm sure you were very excited to get your first training bra. I was when I was younger. And then the reality of wearing the bra set in. Remember that day when it set in and you were like, this is uncomfortable. And then you had to go to gym class and it was itchy. And all you couldn't wait to do was get home and take off the training bra. In fact, you might have even ditched it for a little while until you actually really, really needed it and then put it back on. That was topper wearing for me. So when I first put on my Highline, I mean, Highline is known for having quality pieces. They're known for being comfortable. They're known for not doing damage to your hair. But even at that, I put mine on and I went, oh my gosh, how am I going to do it? And I wore it the first day to school and I got home and I could not wait to take it off. And then the second day, I could not wait to take it off. And I actually even felt sore in the places where I wore the topper, where the clips clipped in all the time. And I remember thinking I was so excited when I had a 4-day week because it meant that I didn't have to wear a topper on the Friday. And that would be the week that I would look forward to, was giving my head a chance to heal. It sounds kind of crazy. And if you're on the fence about wearing a topper, my story might have just scared you away. Maybe you just want to jump right into wearing wigs, you know, wearing not a silk top wig though, because that'll have clips, but maybe a lace top wig or something. But the reality is, fast forward to where I am now, and I remember Sharon describing in some comment somewhere saying, at the end of the day, it should feel like just taking off your bra at the end of the day. Like you're fine with it on, but you look forward to taking it off at the end of the day. And that's kind of what it is for my topper. As soon as I come in, unless I know I'm going back out or somebody's coming over, the topper comes off and I put it away for the day. That's kind of my reality now. I no longer have any soreness on the back of my head or anything like that. And that comes down to just becoming comfortable and accustomed to it, but also my second thing to do, which is a technique-based thing, and that is not to fight the topper to stay on. So maybe that's not the right way to describe it, but someone in my Instagram account, if she's watching, she'll know who she is, once made a comment about like, wow, you really just like plop it on there and go, when she saw me putting on my topper in a video. And I really just plop it on and go. I don't fight it anymore. I used to fight to really, tease the hair and pull down with the topper and clip it in and really try to like get those hairs attached, because I was so scared that I was going to go in the wind and the topper was just going to like blow away on me and it was going to be disaster. The reality is my topper has never blown off my head, and I always now just plop it on, give it a little teeny tiny clip of hair and go. The other day I got off of a plane on the tarmac. One, I didn't know I was going to be getting off on the tarmac, and two, I didn't even have the foresight to think about putting my topper on in a more secure way. Got onto the tarmac, wind. I mean, I don't know what it looked like, but I will tell you that my topper stayed on. It didn't go anywhere. So if I can be caught in that situation, I guarantee you, with just like plopping it and light clipping, you don't need to do the extra hairspray, the extra teasing, like all of the things to make it secure. Those things are more likely, I think, to cause damage to your hair and to cause traction alopecia, right? Is that back combing of it, or lots of product and then it's really gripping in there. It's not necessary. Just place it on gently, do a teeny tiny little like scoop of hair like that. If it feels like it's tugging when you're putting it on, that's probably not a good strategy, and it is going to hurt by the end of the day. So that's number 2. Number 3 comes from the selection of your topper. So we have technique, avoid the back combing, avoid pulling too hard. We have looking for the right clips. But number 3 is about making the right topper purchase for you. So when you have a silk top topper, which is what I have in front of me here. So I've shown you these before. If you haven't seen a video on them and you want to see, you can go through my collection and find one on silk top toppers, but this is a silk top topper. It looks really realistic at the scalp. It's great for that reason, but it also is relatively heavy, right? I mean, it's not super light on the hair. You've got all this extra material, and in general, it's just a lot of hair. So when I see companies selling toppers that are really small, like a 3x5 or a 4x5 or something like that, that ends up worrying me a little bit. And the reason for it, realizing my camera is a little messed up there. The reason, no, now I'm still tilted. Am I straight? Do I look straight to you? There we go. The reason for it is because you have so much hair in such a small area. So let's say they say the density is like 130% density or 150% density. So medium to high density, and it's in a small concealed area. And when you see the videos of them putting it on their clients, they put it on their client and it looks like the client has a ton of hair. That means that there's a lot of hair concentrated in a really small space. And not only is it a really small space, but for me anyway, it's the space that is so sensitive on my scalp. I have not a lot of hair right here, and my scalp in this area is pretty sensitive. So if I'm going to clip something in right here and wear that all day, at the end of the day, it's going to hurt a lot. So my recommendation, and this is just a personal preference thing, and you'll only know by trying on a topper and wearing it all day to be able to figure it out, is to go with a bigger cap size. Now, I don't have a big head. My head is about 21 inches, maybe 21.2 inches in circumference. It's not ultra small, but it's definitely a smaller size head. And despite that, my favorite cap size is like a 9x9. And I've never had the privilege of having a 10x10 because they're really hard to come by. But if I could get a 10x10, I would buy a 10x10. And the reason I like that is, one, it does a really good job of covering my hair underneath. I don't have a lot of hair, so it's almost like wearing a wig, but it has the flexibility of a topper in that, like, I can put my hair up and, you know, it's a little bit cooler in the summertime underneath. But it also means that that hair is spread out and distributed over this larger cap size. Now you are going to have more hair overall to get the same density, but the clips are going to be clipped in, like this one that I'm wearing right now, I think is a 9x9, and the clips are here and down here and like here. So it's clipped into a more secure area and a less sensitive area on my head. You need it to go, you can't have it going past your ear. It needs to be above your ear in order for you to be able to do an ear tuck and things like that. But for me, larger cap definitely helps in terms of the overall appearance, but in particular, the comfort. And I realized that after purchasing my first piece, which was a 7x8, or maybe a 7x7, or a 7x7.5, something like that. And then I worked up to an 8x8, and then I got a 9x9, and I was like, this is the right fit for me. So playing around with your cap size can also be helpful. I'm probably missing a couple of other things that I do on the day-to-day, but on the whole, topper clips shouldn't be really uncomfortable. They shouldn't be causing traction alopecia, and if they are, something is amiss. So it's either the technique in putting it on, it's the topper clips themselves, or maybe it's the cap construction. But do know that toppers can be life-changing, so can wigs, and there is a right person for a topper. And if you think you might be that person and you're not sure, you're welcome to ask me questions anytime in the comments, in my DMs. There's a whole community of women out there who have hair loss, who wear alternative hair, or maybe who just don't want to style their hair and have found alternative hair for that reason. So please don't be scared of it. I promise it can change your life for the better. You don't need to wear it, but for me, it sure feels good. So those are my tips. Don't be too worried. Your head will adjust. And as long as you're careful, traction alopecia shouldn't be an issue, even for me, 3 years into the game. Thanks so much. I'll see you around soon.